This is the sheep guarding llama vlog for the 4th of September 2021. It is Saturday and we got a busy day today. Wow, a lot of stuff going on. So let's see. We started the day with Melvin and an engineering crew leaving Managua at about 6:30 in the morning. They'll be traveling throughout the morning, so it didn't affect us too much, but we're keeping track of them as they come. We found that we had several more kittens discovered today. So if you watch the show, we know that we found 3 kittens in one of the rooms a few days ago. They were taken by the garbage guys. They all wanted pet kittens apparently. We were a little bit worried about how young they were, but we didn't know the situation with the mother, so we were worried about them finding any home and having someone to take care of them. So fingers crossed that they're all doing okay. That mother cat apparently had been moving the kittens at the time and had several of them somewhere else. So now we have several more kittens that have been discovered. They found them up on the roof. They made them a spot in the laundry area, and she has now moved them into the laundry area. And we have a safe spot directly underneath my bedroom window, which is a little bit funny. So we have kittens and a cat living inches away from Clive and Mia, but they haven't figured out that the cats are there because they're kind of idiots. So that works out pretty well. So we now have a number of cats living at the hotel, which we had one cat all this time, which no matter how many times I say we have a cat, Dominica doesn't remember that we have a cat and is always surprised by the fact that there's a cat. Now there's lots of cats, and she still, I think, doesn't remember that there are cats living in the laundry area because she doesn't pay very much attention and she can't hear them for some reason. Even though I spend my entire day listening to the meowing of little cats. But they're doing well and living in the laundry, and she is now raising those cats, and while we're not feeding them, we are giving them water, so they're in much better shape than cats normally are. A lot of traffic. And more coming. So that was the early morning. Alan and Anna came over for breakfast. We hung out, did a little bit on the beach. Didn't have a lot of time to do very much work or anything today because Melvin and the engineering crew arrived around mid-morning. Now this is the big thing going on today because we have an architect, we have soil engineers, structural engineers. They're all here, and Melvin brought his family to the beach so they could hang out, his wife and his 3 kids. So they all came today, and they started doing all the measurements and everything for the hotel so we can start getting a real idea of what we're going to be able to build. I will cut to the chase on that. First of all, we don't have the final results for 15 days. They have to go back and do a whole bunch of analysis, and before they do that, on Tuesday, we have to close the hotel, possibly for 2 days. They are bringing in some massive equipment and doing core drilling because we need to know what the soil is like underneath the hotel. So both in front and in the beach and on the roadside, they have to go down like 35 feet. The chicken bus. And a bunch of people in the back of a pickup. And they're gonna test both sides to see what we can do. Because what we hope to do is drive steel down really far and build a superstructure so we can put basically a second hotel over top of the main hotel. That we don't know anything about and will not know for 2 weeks. They did look at the structure of the current hotel and told us we cannot put a 3rd floor on what we have now. We definitely have to have a steel frame superstructure to do it. The bad news is we don't really have a structure that can hold the 2nd floor. Okay, so that's a little bit worrisome, but it is what it is. We did get to ask them about the restaurant, because one of the things that we wanted to do is take the current restaurant, which is just on ground level and has a terrible roof. We know we have to replace the roof, and the moment that all the paperwork is done on the hotel, we're going to be replacing the roof. That is our very, very first priority because it impacts us so much having those restaurant problems. Like when it rains, it comes into the middle because it's like multiple roofs, and so there's spots you can stay dry, but not that many, and it's really inconvenient, and they can't like run food in and out. The whole thing becomes an uninhabitable area during a rainstorm, which is daily for half the year. So that doesn't make any sense. It's practically useless. It's mostly good for keeping the sun off during the day, but that is the extent of it. That's not enough, and we don't have any anywhere near enough restaurant capacity for the number of people who want to be there. So we got to figure something out. So what we want to do is put a 2-story restaurant out there. I'm hoping we can actually make it slightly larger than the one we have today. And Paul and Dominica have been very much like, I don't know if it's gonna be able to do that. And I'm like, everybody does this. This seems like a very standard thing. I don't see how this wouldn't work. This is not some giant heavy structure. This is, I don't know what they're doing down there. This is just wood beams and simple beach construction. Like, it's hard to imagine a world where this does not work. And the architect looks at it and goes, yeah, you can put a 2-story out here. We're like, well, what about, he's like, nope, you can just put one out. Like, there's no problem, you're good to go. I'm gonna turn around because this lot has never been cleared the entire time we've lived here. I had no idea what it looks like. There's like this old, like, I don't know if it was half built or half torn down, but this was all like really thick brush back here. And they've been clearing it for a couple days. I've noticed it get better and better. So I'm gonna walk the other way because they're making a lot of noise. So much traffic, I'm really sorry. That's one of the things I don't like here. Once it's a busy day, there's just never a way to get away from all of the cars. It's just constant. They don't go fast, there's not that many, but they're spread out. So it's just never ending traffic going by. I'm really surprised by how many people are in town. We're not really that busy, but town is quite busy. Recording this on Sunday. So they came, they did that. So we have some good news, we have some bad news, and then the big news we're just waiting to find out. And then the other thing was, because we had the architect, we went over and looked at the spot that Alan is looking at, and they kind of did a walk around to get a feel for what they'd be able to do with building his house over there, and the verdict is they need to do a soil sample. So they really can't tell them if they can build it or not, but they did go over and look at the current house that is there and gave us the determination that it is in such bad shape it has to be razed. There's absolutely no salvaging it. There's nothing that can be done. It is worthless. All the steel was unprotected and left for years in the salt air and is now just red dust floating in the air. So the property is good. The price is way too high and the building is completely worthless, to the point where we actually have to take price off of what it's worth to tear it down. So that's a big complication. We're gonna see what comes of that. So that was the morning. That was kind of the big thing that got the day started. The engineers all had to head back home by middle of the day. Melvin stayed with his family for the afternoon. Dominica went and played poker. Paul took a nap. Alan is playing poker now. I don't think Anna played poker. I think she just hung out. And across the road, there's just so much noise. And while they were all out, Melvin talked to me and has had to quit because he has an opportunity to move to the United States, which we think is crazy, but he's trying to get passports for his kids, and I get it. So he's actually leaving in less than 2 weeks, and I had to race around with the crew and try to figure out who we're going to be hiring, because we have to hire someone really quickly. So that's underway. We've got interviews lined up for tomorrow. Fingers crossed we'll have that solved by the end of the weekend, but that added a lot of spur-of-the-moment panic to everything else going on. I then had a customer who had some emergency stuff going on, and I had to spend a bit of the evening actually doing technical work, which went well, just added to a stressful or busy day, I guess. Not terribly stressful, but definitely busy. And then after I was done doing that, Dominica was done doing poker, she came back and started getting ready. And I ordered dinner, went out and sat on the beach with Itzhak and his boyfriend, and we hung out for a while Dominica was getting ready. And then at about 9, Leo came and picked up Alan and Anna and Dominica and myself, and the 4 of us went out to 23 Bar in Leon to go dancing for the evening. The bar was slow for the first few hours. I think going out at 9 is too early. And then once you hit about 11:30, it gets so busy that it's actually so packed you really don't want to be there. So it's kind of a rough situation where you go from way too slow to way too busy, just way too fast. So that was less than ideal, and it was just too many people. We decided we had to go. So that was our evening. We were home by about 12:30. That was our day. It was a long time day, and by the time we were done, I was like falling asleep on the dance floor. I just wanted to take a nap. So that was our Saturday. I will see all of you tomorrow.